just on my way to go and save another longfin, or maybe it's just a regular eel, I'm not too sure. I forgot the bucket, which is a bit of a shame, but they can actually survive out of water for a long time, so I'm just going to run him over to the next pond if I can manage to net him. I think he is a longfin eel because I think he is a short fin eel because the long fins are generally black. Well, they are all black. And this one's kind of a greeny colour. But whatever he is, I want to try to get him into the other pond. So I just sort of make a little video rambling about health, just how, again, just me, my experience, like what I deal with the last 5 years. The health is just fucking all over the place, you know. It'd be like some really serious shit, and then just lightheadedness and all kinds of stuff, and it just comes and goes, seemingly no rhyme or reason. It never used to be like this. I'm pretty damn sure it is all just frequencies, and it doesn't seem to matter if I'm sinning, if I'm being a good boy, or what I do. Definitely have to like really look after what I, you know, I've never really been able to eat junk food much, apart from when I was younger. This whole thing just seems grossly unfair. I suppose everyone's got their like, you know, their misfortunes or their strengths, but I see these people, man, they're like still smoking cigarettes and stuff, and they're like 60, and I'm like, damn, man, I had to give that up like when I was I think I gave it up when I was like 25. I don't reckon I'd be alive if I was smoking now. You know, couldn't handle it. That targeting, like the effect it has on your health, it just feels like criminal theft, you know. And it's like, it's far worse than anything material, because that can be replaced, and you know, you're insured and they can give it back, but it doesn't matter. There's no insurance can give this stuff back. No insurance can give you the brain you used to have before you were traumatized, you know. But yeah, the health stuff, like the sleeping, it's fucking messed up. Like, I don't know why, but I'm having good sleep again now, and you know, I don't consider myself blessed or anything. I think I fucking deserve it, you know. I don't think that's entitlement. I mean, shit, man, you should at least be able to like put your head down and get a bit of rest. Everyone should, really, unless you're like doing something despicable, you know, then you don't deserve to be able to rest peacefully. Sorry, I'm fucking rambling. Like, I was trying to keep it kind of light, but it's pretty hard to if you want to be real. Anyway, I've arrived at the scene. I'm hoping I can get this eel into some better habitat. Oh shit, I just blinded myself. Blinded myself with the torch. That wasn't a good idea. Sorry, I haven't got enough hands. There he is. They're kind of slippery customers to get in there. Oi. There we go, got him. Alright, now I'm gonna have to run. No easy way to do this. Just have to fucking run him straight there, I think. Oop. Sorry, buddy. Whoa, shit. Alright. There he goes. You'll have to imagine some uplifting ambient music and a golden hour sunset with some plaid shirted man with a man bun looking satisfied. You're going to have to imagine that, because all you've got in reality is a gritty bird feeder man with a long shadow lurking in the darkness. It was quite a nice little release there. He had a bit of energy in him compared to the one the other night. This empathy thing's interesting, eh? I know you can look at it all sorts of ways, but I start to wonder all the weird health things I've had when I was younger. You come across looking like a hypochondriac or something, but in hindsight it may have just been the empathy thing, feeling all the suffering and all the various energies around you. I got startled the other night and I looked up and it was a ginger cat that I had spooked inadvertently, and I thought it was me. I thought it was I was just feeling that randomly. I generally make it 3 videos a night when I'm walking around here, just because it makes it a bit less boring, like just talking to myself. It's better than nothing. But I generally only post 1, if any. But I was saying here in the last video I made earlier tonight, last summer I would lurk here, and the summer before, and it was a lovely spot, just lovely. I'd bring the little ducklings up here and we'd just chill, and they'd just swim around in this little creek, and it was a real lifeline after all that horror of the organised stalking. So I hope you've all got somewhere, if you're going through this shit, and if you're not as well, it's bad enough anyway, isn't it? Just being aware of all the shit show, and just hope you got somewhere you can get a bit of peace, a bit of quiet. Now this is pretty wicked for like the middle of the city. It's like a little forest. I made myself a little forest at my last property. There was a labour of love over like 10 years or so. I made like this 10 metre long water feature. Hey, there's a spider. quite a big spider. Probably dazzling him. But yeah, I made this cool little water feature with a 10 metre long stream with like schist rocks, and it flowed down this slope. Like I made a hill in the corner of the property with like 30 cubic meters of soil, and it took fucking ages, but it was so enjoyable. In hindsight, I think a lot of I can't be sure, but like, you know, that organised stalking stuff, it's hard to put a figure on like when it really started. Like when it goes overt, there's like no doubting it, but when you start to look back in life, it's like how much of that was actually, you know, I'm not saying the people doing it were conscious of it, but it just did seem like there was an agenda, whether they're aware of it or not, to like keep me out of the garden. Just all the spraying and the noise. I'm talking about the chemical spraying, not the sky spraying. All the noise campaigns and the pollution and shit every day, and you wonder how deep and how far this shit goes, you know. How sort of Truman Show it really is. And I know there's another targeted individual lady on Facebook that I'm friends with, and she has the same problem with her garden. It's all this shit fuckery, like sensitization bullshit, and it gets really far out. And yeah, it does seem like they just want to get you out of the garden and, you know, inside where you just sit in front of a computer instead. Yeah, I missed my my water feature, my little fern garden. It was so chilled. It had like shade cloth over it, and I had to build that because the tree ferns are very sensitive to frost and wind as well. So I had to like make it a little microclimate there, because the province I live in is very windy and dry. So yeah, it was this lovely oasis, and on a hot summer's day I'd turn on the misting irrigation. I had all this suspended irrigation, and it would mist down like you know, like a little rainstorm, and there's like a big rainbow when I turned it on, and such a lovely spot in summer, really refreshing. And, you know, the sound of the water at night, it's like a wild river. I had like 2 pumps. One was for if I wanted to indulge, and it would sound like a river in flood, you know, and then normally I just have 1 pump running, and it was just quite mellow. But you could hear it over the whole property at night. It was fucking lovely, you know. Had goldfish and the occasional frog. I couldn't help calling him Yuri Besme Frog, like that, you know, that KGB fella. It's funny, one night I found Yuri in my bedroom, sitting on a tent fly, and I thought, who sent you, Yuri? Who sent you, Besme Frog? Surveilling me on my computer. Here's a big green frog. My dog used to stare at him. Yeah, it was cool having a big pond. It was a real labour of love. It's a shame, eh? Like, everyone should be able to have a decent garden like that, and especially in this country, you know. And it's just so much healthier when you're you've got things to do that you enjoy, like wholesome gardening projects and stuff. Just trying to decide if I'll look for any more eels. Can't help myself. There used to be a real titan of an eel here. He was like a metre long almost, and he was pretty like majestic to watch him just slink around. He would lurk around this part, like this was his favourite. This was his favourite spot here, and he was really elusive. He'd know when I was filming him, and he would just wait under the bridge. Smells kind of chemically tonight. I don't know if it's the spraying. We always gaslight ourselves on this, I think, and say like, oh, surely not, you know, couldn't be. But I don't know what it would be. I know they're not allowed to use glyphosate here, but it actually does kind of smell like that. They're not allowed to use Roundup in here. Now, I think Gov's done its virtue signal, and it does from time to time, and it's said like no more Roundup in certain places. Or I don't know exactly, that might be a council initiative, I'm not sure. There was one more big eel out here somewhere, but he was like way out in the middle, and it was a really fucking hard trudge to get there yesterday. I don't feel like getting totally muddied up again today. It seems like they go over to that flowing bit of water where I got that last eel from. They're probably really sensitive and aware of where the flow is, and it's kind of good they all tend to head over there, and then I can at least net them rather than having to go out into the middle and get stuck. I was at a lads weekend. I never do this stuff, but I think they were like have one more spot available, so I joined them, and they went to this wild river, and they stayed in a hut, and they're all drinking, you know, that night. And I think I went to bed in the tent because I didn't want to be in a hut full of snoring people, and it was about midnight. I heard this giant fucking squeal and it was this guy, I think he's about 60 years old, and I pushed him into off the jetty, you know, off the wharf into the lake, and they'd been chumming that lake with meat and fat and stuff all day, and so there are all these enormous eels there. Like some of them in that lake, they get up to like 2 meters long, and their body is like way more fat than their head, and they get a bit of a forehead on them. They're so well conditioned. This poor guy said he could feel them all rubbing over him and stuff in the pitch black in the water. Yeah, they're crazy looking eels. It's a little bit like with the well conditioned trouts. They end up getting, we call it a shoulder, where their body grows faster than their head can, and they look quite deformed, but they're quite amazing specimens. They go like that after they've been eating mice and things. mice and rats. Get some big rat plagues here when these beech forests, I don't know if I can find one, when some of these beech trees seed, they drop all their massive amounts of seed. Anyway, sorry to ramble on. I could have wrapped that one up 10 minutes ago, but I'm going to go fill up my water now and head back. Man, it's so easy to fall on these like Groundhog Day kind of ruts, highly like repetitive routines. They're really great at like demoralizing, I guess they do it to the whole population, but it's certainly good at demoralizing specific people. Anyways, I'm gonna fill up my water. Look at that sky, man.